Okay, let's unpack this. So imagine this. You're in Siberia, middle of nowhere, really.
Right.
And then something just appears. Not built, not natural.
Something else entirely.
Yeah, this object. 8 meters tall, perfectly black, like really black.
Uh-huh. No seams, no texture you can see. The source we're looking at, the Void Remembers, calls it just absolute void. Still.
And it appeared after this signal fracture. What exactly was that, according to the source?
Well, they describe it as some kind of collapse or break in an energy field or maybe a communication field they were studying there.
Okay.
And the object didn't just appear near it. It sort of replaced what was there. And right away, it was clear it didn't follow the usual rules.
You mean like physics just didn't apply?
Pretty much. The source says, light didn't reflect, scanners got nothing back.
No temperature reading either?
None. It just is. Which is weird enough, but then someone actually touched it.
Okay. Brave? Well,
Yeah.
Maybe foolish. What happened?
Well, that's the really strange part. They didn't feel anything, like no sensation of touching a surface. Instead, it triggered something internal, a memory. The account specifically mentions hearing their mother's voice.
Wow.
Yeah, from like 30 years ago, clear as day. But not like remembering a recording, more like a direct experience linked to something deep,
So the source, the Void Remembers, they have a theory about this.
They do. They think the sphere is connected to this concept they call the void, but it's not empty.
Right.
It's described more like a place or maybe a state of remembrance, holding impressions, maybe fragments of minds.
Echoes, they called it, like looping echoes caught in gravity. Sounds poetic.
It does. And they claim there's, some kind of scientific data backing this up, or at least pointing that way.
What kind of data?
Neural scans from the person who touched the sphere. They showed these significant bursts of activity, theta bursts.
Okay, theta bursts. That rings a bell.
Memories.
Yeah, and emotion. Hippocampus, amygdala.
Exactly. You'd expect that if someone suddenly had a powerful old memory surface. Standard response.
But there's always a but with these things.
Right. But the source states the pattern of that activity wasn't the person's own usual pattern.
Not their own brain signature.
Nope. The analysis apparently identified it as belonging to someone else, specifically the girl, Amira Song.
Whoa, okay. So the source is basically saying this void, this fear, doesn't just trigger your memories.
It might actually hold or access bits of other minds, like Amira Song's. It's a huge claim.
Yeah, it is. And does it do this to just anyone who touches it?
Apparently not. The source suggests it's selective. It seems linked to people who vanished during, specific weird events in that area.
Like the signal experiments you mentioned. Or blackouts.
Exactly. Or moments they just call contact. Very vague, but specific incidents.
So the source is wondering if it's like a record keeper.
Yeah.
For people lost during those events, they use that phrase, breaching the cosmic veil.
Yeah, that's the idea they float. Like maybe interacting with whatever caused the fracture or going beyond normal reality gets you remembered by the void.
Okay, that's already a lot. But then it got even stranger.
It did. Glyphs. Symbols started appearing on the rock walls near the sphere's base.
Just appeared. Carved. Projected.
The source isn't totally clear on the how, just that they were there. And crucially, they changed. Daily.
Not random changes, though.
No, described as adaptive code. Like it was, learning or reacting, self-modifying.
Which implies intelligence, or at least some kind of active process.
Exactly. Which leads to the big questions in the Void Remembers. What is this thing? A being? A ship? Or they even threw out the idea of something worse.
Yeah, that's ominous. Did they connect it to anything else, like older ideas?
They touch on it briefly. Ancient beliefs about memory shaping an afterlife, that kind of thing. Is the void like that, some kind of judgment, or just a mirror reflecting what we put out there? They do stress, though, it hasn't actually harmed anyone.
It just remembers them.
Right. So pulling it together from the source, you've got this impossible object tied somehow to stored memories, maybe even minds.
Interacting selectively, and now showing signs of learning or adaptation with these glyphs.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
It really leaves you with that final question from the source, doesn't it? If this thing reflects or remembers, what part of you would the void remember?